you so much for being on with me today. I really appreciate it. I really want to show you something that's been near and dear to my heart for a long time. See, I've had this one problem having built two seven-figure companies. I had one problem when I started off, and that was I was screaming into the void when we first started them. The issue we ran into is that we had the knowledge, we just didn't know how to get other people to understand it. So we're going to go through that today. I call it the authority gap, and it's why expertise alone doesn't grow a business. So let me start off today with a single question for you. How many of you have ever hired a marketing company and spent real money on it, not like $1,000 here and there, and gotten basically nothing back? So yeah, I've been there. About 10 years ago, when I first started my first company, I hired a marketing agency, and they were a very good marketing agency. But over time, I spent close to about $15,000. I spent it on websites, we spent it on ads with Google, a variety of things, and wanted to generate leads. That was my ultimate goal. And do you know what I got from that? A very good learning opportunity. No real traction, no consistent leads. And I remember thinking, am I just really bad at business? Here's what took me years to figure out. I didn't have a marketing problem, I had an authority problem. And those are two very, very different problems. Authority isn't posting more, it's not gaming the algorithm, it's not screaming louder than anyone else. Authority is trust, it's clarity, it's consistency, it's becoming known for something specific. And when you don't have it, everything in business feels harder than it should. So I'd like to know, we all have one of these in our house, right? The junk drawer. It's got a whole bunch of things in it, like a pencil, two rubber bands, a piece of gum, and a ketchup packet from like the 90s, right? We all have this junk drawer, and it's full of a whole bunch of things, chargers, devices we've never actually used, we've used once and then thrown back into this drawer. I like to think of content that way. Your content feels scattered. Your sales feel forced. Your brand feels like a junk drawer. When you throw everything that doesn't have a real home into it, most entrepreneurs build their businesses exactly like this. Okay. Half a podcast, abandoned social accounts, a lead magnet from 2 years ago, 14 AI tools, all from hearing someone online say you should really be doing this. Most entrepreneurs are drowning in tactics but starving for strategy. Let me say that again. Most entrepreneurs are drowning in tactics but starving for strategy. So I started studying the ones who consistently built trust, the entrepreneurs who were known just by name. Think Mel Robbins, you know what she does, and realized every strong authority brand gets four things right. And that's how I came up with the four C's of authority. This isn't a growth hack. This isn't the next new thing on Instagram. This isn't the new TikTok thing. It's not an AI shortcut. This is foundational. If you get these right, everything else will just start working naturally. Get them wrong, and you just end up scaling confusion and amplifying noise. The four C's are clarity, communication, consistency, and credibility. So let's move on to these and walk through each one separately. Clarity. This is the one I see more entrepreneurs get wrong more often. This is probably the most critical. Choosing my favorite C is like choosing my favorite child, but bluntly, if I had to, this is my favorite. Clarity is where almost every authority program starts. Most entrepreneurs are so close to what they do, they forget the audience doesn't live inside their head. I've heard this said as it's hard to see the label from the inside of the jar. So they explain instead of position. They dump information, sometimes use jargon. When I started, my answer to what do you do is a paragraph of corporate word salad. What I actually do, I help coaches and consultants build the authority foundation that makes people trust them before they even get a call. Same guy, completely different landing. Confused businesses create confused buyers, and confused buyers do not buy. They delay. They say, that sounds interesting. Let me think about that, which is really entrepreneur code for I have absolutely no idea what you just said. Clarity beats cleverness every time. Again, this is the number one thing I see businesses do wrong. And this is the first thing I work on with clients is getting that clarity down. It's not necessarily that you're not 100% clear. You might be somewhat clear, but it doesn't resonate with people. Are people hearing what you're trying to put out there? The second part is communication. Most entrepreneurs communicate reactively. They wake up asking, what should I post today? Because they were told by somebody they had to post daily. That question alone is the symptom of a broken authority system. I stopped asking, what content should I create? And started asking, what message am I reinforcing? That changes everything. Now you build authority assets, webinars, keynotes, podcasts, signature frameworks. One core idea becomes clips, posts, and emails. You stop reinventing, you start reinforcing, and you stop guessing at your content every single time you try to post. The entrepreneurs with the strongest authority aren't usually the most creative. They're the most consistent communicators. They have the most consistent messaging. Strong businesses repeat strategically. Weak businesses reinvent constantly. So the third C is consistency. Consistency sounds really simple until life starts, well, lifing. You get busy, a launch flops, engagement dips, and the thing you posted consistently about absolutely disappears. As entrepreneurs, we call this shiny object syndrome. Because oftentimes in our company, we are the chief everything officer. We are doing everything, wearing every hat. Most entrepreneurs don't have a content problem, they have an emotional consistency problem. Authority is built through repetition, small, strategic, consistent. And people are afraid of repeating themselves. Meanwhile, your audience saw about 3% of your content while scrolling over their coffee about the 17,000 things they're going through in their feed, right? Repetition is not the enemy, randomness is. Now, I want to clarify this a little bit. When I say consistency and when I say the same message, I don't mean exactly the same one over and over again, although I've used that with social media and it works well. It's the same message underneath it. When I say something, it makes sense. Even though I've said it 3 or 4 different ways, it's still the same underlying message. Last but not least, the fourth is credibility. Authority is not something you claim. You can't just walk out there and say, I have authority in this. It's something people believe about you. A lot of entrepreneurs damage their credibility trying to look credible instead of building it. Buying followers, manufacturing urgency, posturing, and that one kid that always poses in front of a rented Lamborghini. Yeah, there's at least one of them, right? You always see them. Everyone can feel that though. Credibility comes from truth, clarity, lived experience, and stories. When I tell you I spent $15,000 and sat there questioning whether I knew what I was doing, now that's believable because that's credibility. I've been where you're at. I know what you're going through, and I have solved the problem and I've come up with a way to do it. Okay. Every time somebody encounters your message and it aligns and it reinforces the same core ideas, trust compounds. Eventually, you stop being another coach, another consultant in the feed. You become the person known for something. You are that guy in the industry or that gal in the industry. And once that happens, referrals get easier, sales get easier, content gets easier because people already believe you before the conversation even starts. So again, clarity, communication, consistency, and credibility. When those four things align, authority stops feeling forced and it starts compounding, just like compound interest. So I know what you're thinking. Can't AI just do this? So AI is absolutely incredible. I use it every single day. It is a major part of my workflow. But AI doesn't create authority. It amplifies whatever already exists. If your message is clear, AI can become a very powerful tool that you can leverage. If your foundation is scattered, AI just helps you get lost at a much higher speed. Can generate content. It can't generate wisdom, though. And in a world drowning in AI generated noise, clarity, trust, and human connection become more valuable. That's why authority matters more right now than it ever has in history. I don't think most entrepreneurs are failing because they're lazy or untalented. That's absolutely not the truth. I think they're exhausted because they're built on fragmented authority. They're built on a message that isn't clear. When authority is clear, your content makes sense. Your message becomes memorable. Your business stops feeling like random acts of marketing and starts feeling intentional. The entrepreneur who win over the next decade won't be the loudest. They're going to be the clearest and the best positioned. Because authority is not something that you chase. It's something you forge. Authority isn't tactics, it's clarity, consistency, and trust at scale. So before I let you go, I want to offer something. If anything I said today makes you think my business is kind of a junk drawer right now and I need a hand with it, I'd like to talk to you. My mission is to help as many entrepreneurs as I possibly can get out of this, what some people call the suck. And a really good friend of mine calls it the valley of sorrow. When you're trying to get above the noise and you're trying to be heard by multiple people, you're trying to get out onto stages, you're trying to make sure that people understand that you are brilliant. They see that brilliance and they're able to manifest that and transform that into, I need to talk to you. I need you as my business. And you look like the next best step in their entrepreneurial journey. So, what I do with these authority audits, because I'd like to offer you one, we're going to have a focused conversation where we look at your positioning, your message, and your communication. And I will reflect back on you honestly what's working, what's not, and what I'd fix first. No agenda, there's no pressure. We're just here for some clarity. Okay. I'll throw the link inside the chat for you so you have it. It is theauthorityforge.com/GSS-audit. You can go there and book some time with me. But when at the end of this, you're going to walk away with more clarity on what parts you need to fix as far as your authority is concerned. If we work together, great. If we don't, perfectly fine. My give right now is I want to make sure that you walk away with that clarity. So if it's anything I've said to you today interests you, please go ahead and click the link and would interested to talk to you.